Started right now. All right. So, well, we wanted to make sure that we had a really good understanding, a little bit more of what your responsibilities are going to be for this club season as a captain. And one of the most important things, I think, starting off this season is the concept of connectivity. We want to make sure that every single person feels a part of the team. It can't be about volleyball right now. Obviously, every single team has aspects of volleyball. I think we want to have successful teams. I think people care about winning matches and so on and so forth. And that's great. We want that to be a part of the culture. We want everybody working hard. We want you
Every
developing skills. But more important, especially during the last while, it's been really, really important to have people, I think, being back around other people, right? During the COVID time, it's been extremely disconnected. And the more and more that I've talked to parents, the more and more I've talked to athletes, I think there's been a huge void caused with what's been going on with COVID. And what we want to do is make sure that we have an environment with each and every single team that is allowing people to feel like they have a place, people like that they feel like they have a family. And that's going to be the thing that we rely on the captains for. And also to understand what's really going on with each individual person on your team. Already, we've heard stories of kids who and athletes who need help, who feel disconnected, who feel maybe they're not contributing to the team, who feel maybe that the other athletes on their team don't feel welcome or wanted. And this is where we're going to rely heavily on the captains to make sure that every single person on the team feels loved, feels invited, and also feels like there's an opportunity to connect. And so one of the first things I want you to understand is, and what I want you, the responsibility to be, is to understand that every single week, every single person on your team needs to be connected with, right? And whether that's a personal phone call just to talk about what's going on in everybody's life. It does not have to be volleyball related, but what we really want from you is to connect with athletes as a friend, just see how they're doing. And when you are gathering that kind of information, we want you to be able to communicate with the coaches and kind of let the coaches know. I'm sure you've all had days where you've had a bad day and you go into practice, coach is totally unaware of what's going on with you, and you think, man, today is not the day for a coach to come down on me or whatever the case is. We need you to be the eyes and ears of the club and to kind of help coaches understand what's going on with those players, right? Hey, Reed, just so you're aware, Katie Corelli is having, I see your name there, Katie, what's up? Katie Corelli is having a rough day today. Today's not the day to, give her a hard time. And so that way coaches and athletes can connect a little bit better as well. And so when we are reaching out, obviously, I think, I don't know if maybe we do need to talk about the ability to act sincere when we are developing friendships, to go past the point of being shallow, of just saying, hey, what's up? How are you? I think we need to start understanding who these people are that we're spending a lot of time with. And a lot of times I don't think we are aware of what is really going on unless we start digging a little bit. You guys were all voted to be the captains. And because you were voted to be the captains already, the players view you as the people that they want to connect with. They view you as the people who they feel it's safe to connect with. And obviously you got put in that situation because they like you. And so it's going to be really easy for you guys to have the ability to connect. So if you're going days without connecting with somebody on your team, something is going wrong in your responsibility as a captain. If you're going days without communicating with your coach, letting them know what's going on, with the team dynamic, something is slipping with your ability to be a team captain. We want to make sure that you guys are very, very clear in your communication styles with your coach and with each other. Every single team, hopefully by now you've sat down and you've talked a little bit about some of your goals for the season. That's super, super important. And if you haven't talked about your goals for the season, I encourage you as a team to sit down maybe encourage your coach and bring it up to them and say, hey, let's talk about what we want to accomplish. And when we talk about the things that we want to accomplish, one of the first things that we're talking about is the standards. The standards are super important from the standpoint of, it's not about outcomes, it's about the effort that we're giving on a daily basis. For example, a standard of serve receive would be like moving your feet and having your angles to the target the entire time. So no matter what serve comes your way, you're moving your feet and your angles remain on target. And that's a pretty important thing. And so as you guys start developing these standards as a team, it's up to you to help kind of enforce that on an everyday practice level, as far as you being the examples, right? And so you're going to have down days. You're going to have days where obviously it doesn't all feel amazing. But what we really need from you is to, on those days, to still rise above what you're feeling, right? I think we can all feel a little bit better than how we currently are. Does that make sense? So here's kind of what I want to ask and open up a conversation. And please, let's have you guys kind of be willing to share, I guess, more than anything else. So has anybody thus far had an experience where you've seen maybe some of that disconnect that's going on, and where you felt like, holy cow, this girl on my team needs a little bit more attention? And I don't know if we realize how much of it is out there, but I need you to be aware that it's there. So is anybody willing to be brave and to share?
I feel like
Lily, my daughter's here. She had an experience that I'm going to make her share in a second here. But somebody else, is anybody seeing the trend of a little bit of disconnect where you feel like it's a little bit more than just volleyball? Somebody be brave. Come on.
Can I say something? This is Katie Carell.
I might just call on somebody and unmute you. So if you don't want to be called on and unmuted,
I'm literally talking.
Be brave. Anyone?
Reed, I think Katie wants to say she's talking right now.
Reed, can you not hear me?
Well, we'll start here.
What?
Lily, come on in camera, please. No, this is important for you guys to understand. It's important for you to understand. Lily had an experience that needs to be shared and needs to be understood. And I'll let her share. Take 30 seconds.
Okay. Well, there's a girl on my team who there was a day where she was feeling really down, and we all could kind of tell because she just wasn't as like happy as she normally is. And she went in the bathroom, and we realized that she was gone for a really long time. We're like, oh, what happened? And I walked in the bathroom and she was crying. And I was like, hey, are you okay? And she was like, oh yeah, I'm totally fine. And then I thought she was following me, so I walked out, and then she was still in the bathroom. And then I went and talked to my coach, and I was like, hey, she's crying in the bathroom. Like, what do I do? And he was like, go in there and go help her, make sure that she's all right, make sure that she is like not, doing any, like not crying still. So I walked in and she was still crying, and she was looking in the mirror saying awful things to herself. And it was honestly really heartbreaking. And so over the next couple weeks, I made sure that I texted her. I made sure that she was okay. I texted her and I called her a bunch. And yeah, she seems to be doing a lot better. She said that she was just having a bad day, but I hope that I helped her a little bit, and I hope that she is doing better.
Thank you, Lily. All right. So I heard that I've got a few texts, people saying that they were trying to share, and for whatever reason, I can't hear it on my end, but you guys could hear it. So I apologize if I cut anybody off. That's not my intention. I literally just could not hear you. So I'll try to figure out my volume stuff while we're doing that. So basically what we're to take from Lily's story is, there you have a girl who, is in the bathroom in tears because she felt like people on her team were seeing her as a drill killer. People were seeing her as taking away. And, and I get it. There are going to be those people who show up and who maybe take away from the talent of the practice or the drill. But us as captains, especially, it's going to be our responsibility to step in and to make sure that we're helping. That's a huge, huge, huge important piece, because if somebody's having a bad day, and especially at the younger levels, and maybe they're not as experienced, that's something that's a really easy thing for them to say, I'm going to walk away from this. And we don't want anyone to walk away. We want people to feel like this is their home. This is the place that they go to get away from all the stresses in the world. Volleyball should not be a stressful thing. Yes, we want to compete. Yes, we want to win. Yes, we want to do those things. But volleyball itself should not be the stress, if that makes sense. Okay. Oh, I hear some audio. Interesting. All right. Anybody have any other stories to share? I will be quiet and let me see. We go. Katie, you said you were trying to talk. Go.
Can you hear it?
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Okay, wait, I kind of forgot what the stories we're sharing are specifically, just like things we've noticed.
Things we've noticed, how important it is just to establish a trend. Maybe there's not these big monumental, huge things happening, but there probably are some opportunities where little details matter. And I think we need to help each other be aware of the things that are important, or find ways and help connect with each other to help each other connect with our teammates. So please share.
Okay, well, during the alumni tournament, like since my team is so big, we split up into 2 teams. And a lot of us that were on one team were like on the same team last year, and then the newer girls kind of happened to be on the other team, and so it was kind of split up. And I was like, noticed that they were all sad, so I was like trying to talk to them, and they were telling me that their team name is the Outcasts and stuff like that, and I was like really awkward, and I just felt so bad. And so I don't know, like that's kind of just what I noticed, and so then I like tried to like talk to them a lot, but it was kind of sad.
And I guess, and these are the top of the top of the top volleyball players all going to college, right? And if those girls are feeling a little disconnected, and these are girls who have been around each other for years and years and years, imagine what's happening at all levels. And I think that's exactly probably how a lot of people feel. They feel like outcast. And I know it's easy, and you're going to have kids that you get along with on teams. I bet already you probably found that you separated into small little groups with your teams, right? And you probably feel like there's a couple, 3, 4, 5 kids who really get along. And then there's, another group over here that is spending more time together. And then there's probably a girl who doesn't have anybody who she's connecting with. And I imagine that's a trend on probably the majority of teams so far. So what do you guys think? How can we make sure that these little groups are not being the majority, that these are the minority? And what can you guys do as captains to make sure that these things are not happening? As uncomfortable as it may be, what can we do? Somebody share.
Hi, I'm Chanel Johnson. So basically, yes, we have those groups in my team right now. So one of the groups, there is also one of those girls that like doesn't really have anybody, but one of the girls in the group kind of got down on that one girl for maybe missing a ball that might have been hers. Even if it wasn't hers, she kind of went down on her. And obviously as a captain, I can't control what others will say to each other, but you can help lift up that girl that was beaten down and like be there for her, because it obviously doesn't help anything to just tell people what they should do, but being there for them and supporting them in getting better is definitely something I will try to do as a captain.
That's awesome. I think sometimes we feel like leadership is telling people what to do, when in reality, lots of times leadership is listening, is understanding, and is motivating people to take action. And so what happens when we can motivate these girls around us to take action? And here's the thing, I hear it all the time, where there's a lot of players who feel like they are the most motivated and the most driven on their team. And sometimes players feel like they're surrounded by kids who don't care as much as them, right? There's a really good coach named Urban Meyer. He's a football coach, and he talks about a 10-80-10 principle. He says 10% of the athletes are very self-motivated, very driven. You don't have to ask them to come to extra stuff. They just show up. 80% will do the bare minimum, and then 10% will openly rebel. And the top 10% and the bottom 10% are both fighting to connect with the 80%. And so, the kids who are rebelling are looking for more kids to rebel with them. And then you've got those top tier kids who are self-motivated and driven, and they're looking for other kids to show up with them to be driven. And so our responsibility as leaders, our responsibility as captains is to help motivate those who are around us. And the more that we can motivate those around us to take action, right, to be a part of the group, to understand that everything that we are doing as a team is helpful, right? And the other thing too is helping being the eyes and the ears for the coach. I think oftentimes coaches don't have any clue of the drama that's going on the team. And sometimes there is drama. Sometimes there's none, which is amazing. But in a club of teenage girls and teams of teenage girls, there's often going to be a little bit of dramatic things happening. And and it's for you guys to, and it's not tattletelling, it's for you to help problem solve and have solutions. Sometimes it's as easy as coaches switching up lineups and putting players with the right players, in drills, making sure that they get some connectivity that way. And so that is my goal. We're gonna kind of stop it right here. But that is my goal for you guys right now, is to make sure right now that every single person is connecting with everybody on their team, right? And as captains, I want you guys to not only connect, hey, I'm a captain, I'm going to connect with these four, and I'm a captain, I'm going to connect with these four. I want you guys to take turns connecting with everyone on your team. I want everyone to feel a part of this family. And it's a huge, important task that you have in front of you. And it would be really a beautiful thing if we can make sure that every single person in Club V feels included. I've gotten some pretty amazing emails from parents telling me experiences where their children felt outcasted, and because of the girls on the team, that they felt really included. I have a story from when I was a senior in high school, and this is why it's probably been really important to me. I coach at Lone Peak High School, and we keep a massively big roster, way bigger than we probably ever should. And the reason we do that is because of an experience I had as a senior in high school. So there was a kid on my team named Steve Gallagher, and Steve was not the guy we would choose to hang out with. And he wasn't a terribly talented volleyball player. But what we decided, and we went to our coach and we asked her, like, why in the world would you take this guy on this varsity team? And what she told me is that he needed the team more than the team needs him. And so we took that as a challenge. And so every single match, it was our goal to beat the living daylights out of the team across the net so we could get Steve in to play volleyball. So we weren't just trying to play to win. We were trying to get Steve. We played to get Steve and the other people on our team playtime. And that's kind of been our motto at Lone Peak, is the girls on the court, their responsibility is to get the girls who are not on the court, right? To get a lead and to play their best so we can get other people in the matches. And that needs to kind of be what our team motto is. Now, here's a cool thing about that. And we didn't know this. We didn't know anything was going on with Steve. But at our team dinner at the end of the year, Steve's mom came up and grabbed a few of us and told us that Steve was extremely suicidal. And because of our friendship that we formed for him, and the entire student section, every time we got Steve in, they would have banners for Steve and they would make it a big deal. So it was the first time in his life the guy ever felt totally loved and included. And because of that, his mom told us that it completely saved his life. And ever since then, it's really resonated with me that being a teammate is not just about winning. Being a teammate and being a leader and being a captain is making sure that everyone that you come in contact with is feeling loved, is feeling protected, is feeling like they have a place. And that's where it starts with you guys. And so before we challenge anything on the volleyball side, this is the first challenge I have for you: to connect, to make sure everyone feels like they have a place, to make sure that everyone feels that they are loved. And to do this not just as captains, but do it as a full team. Get together and start those dialogues. Okay, does that make sense? Does everybody understand what I'm talking about? And if you can do this, I promise you guys, it'll be one of the most like incredible experiences you'll ever have playing volleyball, not just from volleyball, but from a friendship standpoint, because you'll start having relationships with people that you probably never would have chosen to have relationships with. You can find something good from anybody you come in contact with. There's something you can learn from them. There's something you can take from them. And if there are those negators out there, you know, the girls who are constantly negative all the time, they're trying to protect something. There's something insecure inside of them, which is bringing out that negativity. You can help them rise above and find some of that positivity. Okay. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
I have a question.
Yes.
So basically something I've been thinking about is like I want to like reach out to people, but I feel like because they know that I'm a captain, like that's I don't know. I don't want that to be like the sole reason. Like I don't want to make them like feel awkward, like, oh, she's only reaching out because she has to as a captain. Like, how do we make it more subtle, you know?
I don't think it needs to be subtle. I think you absolutely reach out and you don't say, hey, I'm calling you because I'm a captain. You just call, you be friends. Here's the thing, and here's what I've realized over time, that it is really hard to dislike those who like you, right? And so it's just one of those things where you can have a conversation, and maybe it's somebody who I previously didn't like very much, and you tell me, oh my gosh, they just think the world of you. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, you know, they're awesome too. You know, if they like me, then I'm kind of a jerk for not liking them, right? And so I think really, I don't think people care. As long as you're being sincere with your efforts of reaching out and just talking to them. And it's not, that's what I'm saying. It can't just be surfacey of, hey, what's up? It's got to be a little bit deeper than that. It's got to be a little bit more, what are you doing? Let's hang out. Let's get a team activity together. If you guys haven't had any team activities, I suggest to get together once a month, totally non-volleyball related, and get people out of their comfort zone. I understand with COVID, some people may feel weird about getting together or can't do it, which is fine. But what I want to make sure you do is provide the opportunities to get together and hang out. It's one day for you, but it might be one of the best experiences in something that they need, right? To have friends. And that was one of the things that girl that Lily was talking about, she sent her a text and was asking her after that, hey, can we hang out? Because it was really important for her to feel like she had a friend. And I guarantee if it's happening there, it's happening everywhere. This is not a unique circumstance. I think it's happening on every single team, and we just have to be aware. So I don't know. So Katie, does that help you?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Right? Anybody else? That's a great comment. That's a great comment. I think it sometimes is a little nerve-wracking to think that you're going to come across as insincere, but as long as you are sincere, they'll feel it. Anybody else have any comments?
I have a question.
I have a
too.
question.
Yes.
So you were talking about how you don't want to just do like on the surface, like things like, oh, what's up? Like, how are you? Stuff like that. But how can you get them to feel like they can actually open up and like talk to you about things that like they're insecure about? Because most people don't like doing that, I feel like.
Honestly, I think actually people kind of do. It's just breaking down barriers. You've heard the concept of peeling the onion, right? You ever heard that before?
Yeah, I have.
It has lots of layers. It's just asking questions. The thing is most people will open up if you ask questions and you get them and you ask the right questions.
Okay.
And so, you know, and I guess it kind of depends on the person, you know, and kind of if they're being super guarded, you can see that, right? And so it's up to you, and it's your responsibility at that moment to maybe start surfacey and then to lead into deeper questions and ask. I mean, the first thing is you don't have to go in and be like, tell me if you've had any crazy experiences or with whatever. I mean, you don't have to do that, but you can start asking like, hey, how many siblings do you have? What'd you guys do for Christmas? Do you guys do anything over the summer that's really fun? Do you have any interests outside of volleyball? And just get to know them. And when people are legitimately getting to know, if you get somebody to talk about something they love and they're passionate about, they will absolutely open up. It's just you finding out outside of volleyball, what are they interested in? What are they passionate about? And let them talk. and that'll make a difference
Okay. Thank you.
for sure. Any other questions? That's a great question.
I have a question.
Yes.
Um, as our jobs as team captains, do we have to like talk to refs and stuff?
Talk to refs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what will happen, that's up to you. So like you'll at the beginning of matches, typically you'll be the ones who go up at the whistle, and yeah, you'll do the exchange where they'll flip the coin and decide who has serve and all that kind of stuff. And then usually your coach will have a floor captain. So if there is a questionable call, they usually have the floor captain talk to the ref, and then the ref lets the floor captain know the information. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I have another question though.
Yeah.
Should we like try to get like I'm on a kind of a younger team. So, should we try to get numbers or not at that lower division?
Numbers. What do you mean?
Like phone numbers?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's probably the way that everybody connects today is by texting and whatever else you guys do. But yeah, that's probably one of the easiest ways. Or even if you guys can do the Zoom thing, you know what I mean? If that's an easier thing for your team, get together and have some Zoom calls or whatever the case is. But I do think just getting a text from somebody is usually an easy way to initiate a conversation. So I would for sure make sure that you have everybody on your team who has a phone and who has the ability to communicate that way, that you have that.
I have a comment.
Yes.
So, yeah, like you said, like to do something for like a party or something just out of volleyball. For my team, we did for Christmas, we did like a gift exchange that like it helped a lot of the girls that were kind of shy to open up more. And now we have a much better relationship with the girls on our team, and we're thinking about doing another like game to help people like open up to each other and be able to talk because some girls on our team are just like shy and stuff.
That's
We're
awesome.
gonna try to do some more things out of volleyball.
And little things like that make such a big difference. It's incredible. So like kudos to you guys. That's awesome. Anybody else?
I have a story.
Yes, please.
Okay, so when I was at my practice, there was a girl named Mulan, and I don't know if she had that many friends on our team. Like I had a lot of girls that I had last year, and so we were getting partners and doing like passing back to each other, and she didn't have a partner to go to, and so I just came up and asked her to be my partner, and I could tell that she felt a lot better.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I think that's the thing. It's a lot of people feel like they sometimes are on their own island, and you taking the initiative is such a big deal, and that's awesome. And that's going to make a big deal like in the long run, because then she'll always look to you as somebody who she can probably trust and who she can connect with. And that's huge, because at the end of the day, what makes a really good season is not just how many games you win and lose, it's the experience you have with those on your team. And that's a really, really important thing to, at the end of the year, be sad that you may not be able to play with those girls again. And that's what you want. You want to make sure that these are people you would, outside of volleyball, by the end of the season, these are people that you want to continue to connect with. So that's incredible. Anybody else?
I have something.
Yes.
So for me and Lily, Kai kind
Lola?
of, yeah.
What's up, Lola? How are you?
Yeah, good. So Kai kind of talked to us, and he said that we shouldn't, like, for partnering up for stuff, we shouldn't ever really like be partners like us two. So me and Lily aren't ever really partners for stuff, so that way we can like make sure that everyone else has a partner that they're comfortable with, and like we talk to them and we lift them up. If they like feel like they're not doing the best, we can say like, you got this. And then we also have a group chat that we talk in literally every day, and we always check in on people and just always make sure they're doing okay, because maybe they seem fine, but sometimes they aren't. So just we like to let them know that we're there for them.
I love it. Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that's important, because you'll see there's trends of kids who pair up all the time. And just for team chemistry, it's important to make sure you're warming up with different people, spending time with different people. And that's important. And that's good advice by Kai for sure. Anyone else? Thanks, Lola.
Yeah, so I feel like that can be very good to do, like have like different teammates to be connected with. And also, so with my team, my mom is the coach, and she always does the whenever we have to team matchup, she says to only do a different teammate every time, because if you do it the same teammate, then you're not learning anyone else, and they might not have any friends. So I think that everyone has done almost everyone on the team, and it's been way more fun like that, because me and my one friend did it twice in a row on accident, and it wasn't that fun because we knew like each other's skills and stuff. But then when I did a different girl and more other girls, it was so much more fun, because I got to learn what they liked and how they did everything, and it was really fun.
That's awesome. And that's going to be the one thing that you're going to hear from me. I'm going to start sending stuff to you as captains to share with your teammates. There's going to be some sports psychology, like motivational type things that I'm going to start sharing with you. But I'm also going to follow up and make sure that you guys are connecting. And I just need you to be honest, right? It's easy to say yes, but part of having integrity is being honest, right? Is just saying either I am connecting or I'm not. And I love hearing all of these stories. Anybody else have anything else that they'd love to share that will add to the conversation? And just keeping in mind that our goal is to connect with everyone, and you're going to hear from me next week as far as, are we doing this? Anyone else?
Yeah, hey, my name's Berkeley.
Berkeley, what's up?
Hi. So I feel like sometimes at the end of our practice, when coach makes it like hard or challenging, all of our teammates kind of get down and like are tired and stuff. And I'm a personal hype man. I really am. And like they get all like, I make them stoked, and I feel like that helps them a lot. And so I'm planning on doing that in our tournament this week. Just saying.
Everybody needs an emotional leader, and it's awesome when somebody is willing to be that emotional leader and to help them understand that, remember, when we're in growth, meaning when we're trying to get better, we're actually going to make way more mistakes, right? When we're in our comfort zone, we're going to perform at a higher level. But when we're in practice, we want to be in growth phase, which means we're out of our comfort zone. We're trying things and we're trying to get better, and we're always going to make mistakes. And sometimes people think of mistakes as a failure, that it's a bad thing. It's absolutely necessary to grow, as long as we are trying to do that growth appropriately. And so as long as we have somebody, Berkeley, like you, who's reminding them, hey, we're growing right now, we're getting better, it's amazing, because I think it gives perspective. And that's one of the most important things we can offer each other, is that type of perspective. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? This is awesome.
I have a quick comment.
Sure.
When you were talking about mistakes, it reminded me of something that my teacher used to tell me a lot, that mistakes are chances to learn.
Absolutely. I love that. And I think and as long as we have that attitude towards learning, right? That if we are trying, I mean, here's the thing, we're not trying to mess up. We're trying to do right. And as long as we're keeping our brain in the right and we're trying to expand, life is great. And you will learn those lessons. And there's some cool stuff that we'll be sharing with you starting next week, kind of about how the brain works and how to keep ourselves focused on the appropriate things. It's really easy to evaluate what we're doing wrong, but we want to evaluate, because whatever we think about is what we are and what we become. So we'll teach you guys how to help everybody understand what they should be thinking about, what they should be focused on. all the time. So that totally goes along with what your teacher was saying. Very wise. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Taylor. My team, we get like during conditioning, we get really tired, and I feel like our team really bonds with that just because we always have to like we never have to go, we never go ahead of each other. We just always like wait and we cheer each other on. And I feel like that's like a time that we really bond. So like during practice, we always are like, well, like we're really quiet, but during conditioning, we get really like loud. So like I wish that we could be loud all the time and like talk more.
Yeah, so we can hype each other up so then we don't get slowed down and then
Yeah.
No, and that's important. And that's the thing. You're developing a culture there. And if you keep that culture burning and you keep it alive, it will make a huge difference. And that's super important. I love that. And so that's going to be up to you to make sure that energy initially is always there, you know, for you to hype people up that the way they need to be hyped up. And then that will carry over to practice times. And here's the thing, when people are sweating together and they see that they're trying as hard as they can, it makes everybody feel like they're all working the same. And when you know that everyone's working the same, there's no comparing. There's no like, well, I'm trying harder than them and they're trying and I'm better than them because they're not showing up. When everybody's doing that stuff, I think it levels the playing field and they kind of see that, hey, we're sweating together. This is awesome. And I'm a huge believer in working out as a team before and after practice. I think that conditioning in general is amazing. And that's something, if you're not doing as a team, maybe you start suggesting to do that. If you need help understanding what to do, reach out to me. You have my number and I can give you workouts for you guys to do as a team. You won't even need your coach to be there to help you. I can just give you stuff to do, pretty simple to follow. So I love that. Anyone else?
Hi, sorry, I'll be quick just because
You're good.
time and everything, but I'm Camille, and just something that like I found was really good just because like we already had like a lot of girls that played on the same team last year. And so like, and a lot of girls who went to the same school and were like carpooling and stuff. And I felt like it just like from the beginning was already a little clicky. So like from the beginning, like cause I show up early to get extra reps all the time. And when people will come into practice, I'll just make sure that I say hi to everyone as they're coming in. And just like another thing is that like I love to get extra reps. So I'll go into the gym whenever I can. And I always like will text the group chat and I'll be like, I'm going in at like 6 this morning if anyone wants to come, or I'm gonna try and get some extra reps tonight. And just like I feel like trying to like connect with everyone in like a volleyball environment, and then also just like as friends and as like teammates, I just feel like that has been really helpful in like cliques and just like getting to know people. So
I love it. That is awesome. And inviting extra reps, huge. There's so many opportunities. That's the one thing that Matt and I always wanted to have for people is lots of opportunities to touch a volleyball. That's why if the gym is open and there's open courts, we're telling athletes, you know, come use it. And so I love that. I love showing up early to practice, finding times to get those extra reps in. That's amazing. Anyone else? No worries. Okay. So that's your assignment. I am going to remember, you'll be looking for things that I'll be sending you. Your responsibility is to pass those on to your teammates, right? I think it's good to come from you instead of just coming from me. And then I'm going to follow up and make sure that you are connecting, that you are setting up a team function where you guys can get together outside of a tournament, hanging out, that sort of thing. So I really appreciate you guys taking on this responsibility. It's huge and it's so important. It's probably one of the most important things you can do and be on a team for, right? Taking this role on. And I promise you it's going to have a huge impact. And at the end of the day, knowing that you've impacted others in a positive way, there's nothing more satisfying than that. So I will let you go. Good night, everybody. Thank you for showing up. And you'll hear from me next week. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.